revision? Was this the
This
revision?
is a revision.
This is the
That's correct.
revised thing.
Yeah.
So then my wondering goes back when they went through the revision steps and they notice, oh, I didn't put that in, are they now just bumper stickering in the fix and not going back through and then rereading it with that whole cohesive thing? Like, oh, I missed this part out.
Right. And I purposely selected a student that was not in our class. So it was my other period that Laura's not in.
Okay. Well, and so back to my comment about sentence combining, one of the things that I'm thinking about here in thinking about the implications for instruction is if students go back now to this paragraph and they choose 2 sets of sentences and you do a little mini lesson on sentence combining as a way to show, like, instead of saying like the tone is this, here's my quote, here's the reason why it's important. Like, how can we marry those 3 ideas together into flow? Because I think, Mickey, part of it is this idea of how complex ideas are conveyed through complex sentences. And so we've got a lot of simple sentences.
Yeah.
What else do we notice as far as implications for instruction?
I think kind of dovetailing off what Dana was doing in her class is looking at language and just maybe a mini lesson on repetition. Because she repeated the prompt 3 times in the paragraph. And that's something that, like, I took my comments off because I gave her some side comments and so forth. So I purposely took all this off the paragraph. But I was like, wow, even at the end, she like kind of bumper sticked the prompt.
Right.
You just slapped it on there
Like when
again
they
to
say,
like,
kind of
secure.
claim and new words and, you know, we bring it all together and wrap it up. And this was.
just
She
really-
literally followed you.
really just clung onto the prompt like a life, life preserver. And it was like, that wasn't really the intention.
Right. Let's look at the back, the back of the last page. At the very top, these are some nice sentence frames for us for thinking about implications for instruction. I think back to what Mickey said about the verb tenses.
Yeah, a little mini lesson on, you know, during the editing phase, or are we going back? A lesson on verb.
I think too, when you're comparing 2 works, transition words are so important. And I noticed that so many kids writing, they just are not linking their thoughts together and not transitioning into the next text.
So supports for that might be, that specific idea of transition.
Because we've given them word lists, word banks, but I don't think they really use it. It's just,
Sometimes they're overwhelming,
Yeah.
you know, like if they're too big, like maybe just a handful to try for a handful that work for compare and contrast, you know.
That makes me think of like different purposes for going back through revision. Like oftentimes I see revision as this isolated event, but like this is a revision and they may very well have enhanced the content. But now I'm wondering, can there be different phases of revision where it's like, okay, now we've enhanced the content. Now let's revise for the purpose of flow. Now let's revise for the, like establishing different purposes, whether they be content or language, so that students can look at their work through a particular lens. And maybe that purpose is specific to the need of the student based on the feedback they've received.
Love that. Let's move on to step 6.